Let's tie this Chernobyl ant. Get that hook in place here. On this one, we're going to take our black thread. We're going to start right up at the eye of the hook. What we want to do is get that thread locked on, and we're just going to cover that hook in black. As you can see, it's going to take quite a bit of thread to do that. Let me get that tag end off now. But you want to get this covered because this is going to be the underside. Most of this fly is on top. So what we want to do is we want to get that underside, that hook, completely black with this thread. Okay, now we're going to take one of our black strips. We're going to tie this in at the back here. A couple of wraps, kind of loose, and then tighten it down. We're going to take our second black strip, throw that on top, and we're going to right in the same spot. And tighten this down pretty good here. 3 or 4 wraps. Then what we want to do is we want to take the rubber legs. Just take a couple of those. I'm going to peel off 2. Get those tied in the back here. Lay those across and then just kind of loosely wrap that at first. And once you get that on there, then you can kind of play with the legs and try to get them into position and stuff. Once you got that in place, you want to take some of this yellow foam and you're going to tie that right over the top. I'm going to come in between the 2 legs here. See if I can pull the front ones forward here, maybe tuck them under there, pull the back ones here. A couple of passes on that. Now what you're going to want to do is just peel the top one up. You're going to make little segmented bodies under here. So I'm going to take this and come forward just a little bit and tighten that up real good to make kind of a segment underneath there. If you bring the original back up, you can kind of see that on there, those segments. Let's go a few passes here, then come forward, do a few more passes here. Just kind of building those segments. More right at the front. Now you can tie that top foam back down and basically repeat the process that we did in the back again with the legs. Now this time I've got 2 of them together, so let's just take a look at how we tie those in this case, right? I'm going to come over to the back once and twice. And we're going to come from the left side now instead of the right side and do a couple of passes like that. At this point we can clip off this back yellow piece and then bring it back up to the front. I'm going to peel these legs open too. Tuck that front one underneath the front just to hold it out of the way a little bit. Same with this one. See if I can get that in there. So we're just going to come back in here and tie in our yellow. This acts kind of as like an indicator, so you can kind of see it better. It's on top. The fish aren't going to see it as much, but it's going to give you visibility when it's in the water there. Now, it's a little hard to do a whip finish on a fly like this, so what we're going to do is we're going to do some half hitches. So what you do is you take your thread out, get a bunch, you twist it like this, and then come in. You're going to want to be careful of those legs. Come back in. If you got a bodkin, one of these pins on a handle, you can use that to come back in and to draw that line, that thread back in. So make sure you got enough thread out of your bobbin to do this. Just come in there a couple of times, use that bodkin, and then draw it back in. That's twice. I'm going to do at least 3 on this. It's all black, so it's all going to blend in if you do more than 2 or 3. So we'll draw that back in. Now you can cut off that thread. Come underneath here and just cut it on the underside. I got that yellow on the top. You just want to cut that again right about there. And you can tug the legs a little if you need to get them in position. And here, if they're too long, you could snip them. You can come in and cut them to length if you want. I'm going to leave them like that for now. I don't mind my legs being too long. You can see on the original one here before we tied this one, they're a little bit shorter, and that's fine too. You can always come back in and trim them if you want to. Now you did notice that this kind of rolls a little bit on here a little bit. You can control that some by getting a little bit more tension on the thread, but you can see on the one that was sent in the kit, what we're going to do is you can come in through super glue on the underside here, and you just hit this with super glue and let that dry. It'll help lock in the threads up front too. Let that dry, and that'll help lock it in place. And there's the Chernobyl ant.